Well, I was first born as Arthur Jr. Powless. Then later I was condoled with my brother. He was the Onondaga chief and I was the Onondaga Faithkeeper. And today I still use my Indian name, Onondaga Faithkeeper. And that duty and responsibility is help keeping the peace, keeping harmony amongst like our family.
Yeah.
Oshadenya
Okay.
is my Indian name, Arthur Powless. Arthur Jr. Powless.
So what clan are you guys?
Eel,
Oh, okay.
Onondaga. 7. In those days, family was important, and we lived together a lot. Like, actually lived together, and it switched. I had a lot of aunts, a lot of uncles, and so we switched back and forth. We always seemed to be able to make room for everybody, and that was the key. And nobody, whenever they come to visit, nobody went away hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it was a scone or something like that. We always managed to find something to eat, feed them. And tea was important. In the summertime, it was a cold drink of water from the well. Yes. A great deal of difference. When we were young, I'd say I can probably go back to about 3 years old. And then from there on, we were taught obedience. And it wasn't backed up with a whip or a strap. A lot of talking to, repetitively. And today, we don't see that. A lot of electronics have replaced that speech, that family talking to. And that isn't good. We can see that in our society here today. Whereas before there, we used to have a radio, a little radio. Every Saturday night we used to listen to Nashville. Good old country music. Yeah, and today again, we don't. Everything is all television, computers, and that's deteriorating the minds of our good younger generation. And I think that's why that we see our generation of young people going the way that it was. We experienced a lot. There for years, the children that was going to school that would speak the native language, we got the strap. The teacher would strap us for speaking our language. And so after a while, that got beaten out of us. A lot of the families had lost the language. And that wasn't good. So as time progressed, a group of us, Longhouse people, had gotten together and we said, we're going to get it back. So we started. Oh, we met a lot of opposition. We met a lot of opposition in bringing that language back. And everybody tried to stop us. I mean everybody. Schools, government. If they could put a cement block in our way to stop us there, they would do it. Well, we continued on. They tried to say we didn't have a teacher. Well, we did have a teacher. The teacher that he was a registered teacher. He was Harvey Longboat, Yoga
Okay,
Chief.
yeah, I know the family.
Yeah, the Sky. And my brother, Coleman Powless. Yanni was his Onondaga name. Chief's name. Well, Harvey was the teacher. There was Clara Powless. She was a registered teacher.
She was my teacher and I was
Oh yeah. So they couldn't block it there. So we progressed through with it. Oh, we had a tough time. Nobody wanted to help us. We used the building of Coleman's store, and it needed some fixing. Webb Slack, in Caledonia, he's the one that donated a great deal of building materials to renovate the store and fix it up and make it look nice, and which he did, and it was nice. It was good. So with that there, we take it and we taught our children. We taught our children the language, as well as the school academic teaching. And with that there, after that school year was finished, they still wanted to discredit us. And they insisted on that our children that went to school be re-examined. Have a test to the system here that was ongoing on the reserve. Well, as it turned out, they did that. And our children scored much higher.
awesome.
Much higher. Today, as we speak, many of those children, by far most of them, has got one degree or another in various different educational, operational, business, government run, even right down here in the reserve.
Yeah, Colleen is my son's teacher actually.
Oh yes. Yeah. So a lot of those children, they picked up the education, the language. Now, and it started here on Six Nations. The language, the native language, started off with Cayuga, progressively. Mohawk followed. Onondaga followed. And what had happened is that now, and here again, it started at Six Nations. That's gone across Canada, coast to coast. the native languages being taught in schools. We got to give our children Niaksa. We got to give them a lot of credit for how they've picked up the language. You hear them on the radio every so often, speaking their own language, and the sounds of their voices. They've got to be small. And it sounds good. I'm proud of them, children. I look at them as my grandchildren. I'm 80 years old. Yes, I look at them as my grandchildren. And for them to stay with it. They don't know what we as elders had went through. They don't know the strappings, the punishment that we had for speaking our language. And I put that blame on the religion, because in many cases it was they who strapped it out of us, or attempted to. They were successful in some gave in, and that was too bad. But yet I think that in Canada here, I think Six Nations is still the key, the center, the pinnacle of our traditional faith, religion, whatever you choose to call it, recognize it by, is the strongest here. And it's picking up. I see here now that different parts of the reserve, I guess the third longhouse is being built, or is built, getting bigger, more people coming in. And it's good. We're able to maintain that. Not too many places have done that. They're losing it. Mm-hmm. All through this time here, in the 70s, I guess it was, when we started that language school down here. Oh, we took a lot of verbal punishment. And after a while, they gave in to where the language is here today. All through that time, you don't say the government. The government always says they want to do something with the language. They want to help. There's not any of us that has gotten a pension out of it. We sacrificed a lot, years of work. But nevertheless, we persevered. We continued. And I'm glad that we did. And I can't say enough about our young people. And they're still coming up today. As we speak here, they're still learning. They're learning to hear them speak in the longhouse. They can speak in the longhouse. Oh yes. And the songs, they're learning them songs. Very important. And one day we're going to see that. That's not too far off. So from there on, well, and of course I started working again, and I never got a full education as per se through the system. I got as far as grade 8, and then through that I took it and I realized what I needed in education, and I started taking short courses of college, university, and whatever I seen that I needed, that was a course I'd take. And I went all the way through that. With that there, I had various good jobs. Worked for the government there. Taught economic development looked after economic development. Various different spin-off programs that the government had. And, you know, going back and forth to school. And with that there, well, I learned computers, etc., bookkeeping. And it was just short courses like that. Then I ended up with not too bad of a job. And work-wise, I'd done steel work for quite a while. Worked for a large corporation out of Pittsburgh. And that's not bad work, but it's not good work for a married man. Because if you want to work, you got to go where the work is.
Yeah.
You know, it's contract work. You're working out. So I worked in Hamilton here for 27 months. That was the first time I was near home here for a long time. After I was finishing up there, I was scheduled to go out to Pueblo, Colorado. I asked my wife about that. She says, it's up to me. Well, I had one daughter, and for the most part, she was a single parent. Because if I'm going to work, I got to go away from home. So I thought about it, I thought about it. I decided not to. I'm going to stay home. That was kind of scattered. My father, he didn't want us to learn the Mohawk language. He said it was too difficult for him to find a job to work, and he didn't know the language, the English language. He knew a little bit of it. He could speak 7 languages. He could speak all the native languages, but he didn't do good at English. He said they didn't want the children to learn that. So we didn't learn until later. Even our Indian names, a lot of them couldn't say that. They our Indian names, so they give us their names. If they was a carpenter, well, we were named carpenters, so on and so forth. A lot of English names, a lot of foreign names, and that's why we're so spread out with the names. Like that's how we got them. A lot of times we took the names of the priests. In the early days, it was very important. There were certain clans that didn't marry into other clans, and that was to keep the bloodlines straight. Keep them straight so that we wouldn't end up being crazy in the head. And that's really what it was. Mm-hmm. And they were very insistent. It's not so much anymore. No, where we weren't supposed to marry outside of our native heritage. You're supposed to keep that bloodline pure. Well, that's not so much anymore. No, we played a lot of softball. Oh, we played a lot of softball. Then there was another game that was made up. I grew up with it. I don't know where it come from. It was called ding balls. You take an old sock and put 1 or 2 socks in each end, tie them, and then use a hooked stick and we'd throw that back and forth. It was something like lacrosse. Oh, that used to hurt when they were wet. Hey, you get hit with that there, it hurt. But that's what we played. We didn't start playing lacrosse until later in years. But the equipment wasn't good. They got us lacrosse sticks. They were softwood, and they broke easy. I started working at Canada Packers there when I was 14 years old. Had my father signed for me to go to work. And I worked there for, I guess for about 4 years. Yeah, about 4 years I worked there. It's always easy to find work. If you want work, you can find it. That's one of the things I see different here today, is that we don't have the ambition that we had time back. You know, and we don't have that. It's too much iPad and iPod, television. Whereas back when I was small, 3, 4 years old, we listened to the radio once on Saturday night. And that was good old Nashville, Tennessee. 50,000 watts. You won't have a 100% turnaround, but there's a great deal that's starting to see the values in our old teachings and the benefits. They say they put our food away. We're coming to that. There's things that's coming at us that we're not prepared for. It's probably going to cause a lot of people to lose their minds. You see, we're going to see the dead people walk. People's not expecting that. It won't happen all at once. It'll be gradual, like other things we've seen in the prophecies that's come about. This here is not a prophecy. And that's supposed to be 235. Another few years. We'll start to see it, probably early 30s. But the people that can handle it, there'll be a lot of ceremonies to keep them down, keep them at rest. But we still, the important part is put away our food, corn, beans, and squash. That'll keep. I've got corn seed here and all that is well over 100 years old. Has never seen any chemicals. No fertilizer, herbicides, insecticides. Pure seed. Put it away, put it in barrels, put it in a dark, cool place, and you still got time to do it. It's not as hard to do it today as it was time back. The first tractor we had, well, we didn't have it, we watched it. Massey Harris. Massey Harris 30, I think, 32, something like that. And how much faster it was than doing it with a horse. Oh, the people used to just come and put their arms over the fence, hang on the fence and watch. Up and down, up and down. And just keep remarking how fast it was. Yeah, that's... But there's not many people. As time comes on, you put $100 bill on the plate and try and eat it. See what it's going to be like. You're not going to be able to eat. But that's what everybody's chasing. You got to put your food away. They tell us in the love house there, 7 years. 7 years of food.
So what would you say your best advice would be for young people today?
Keep on learning as much of your native heritage, your language, and living it. As you, it don't take any more time. Just a little change of life, that's all. And they'll find that in the end they'll be much richer. Mind, body, and soul. their spiritual strengthened. Those ones that are speaking the language stuff, they can see a difference. They feel a difference. That's a big thing. Sometimes they may need some help, some reassurance. But yes, they will find it.